the Magi Soul Line correlates with the crown chakra, and because it's high on the body, the physical body, it tends to show up in people who favor mental and spiritual work over physical labor. These are all generalities, so there are ways that this gets mixed up. You could have a very physical person still have a lot of interest in the Magi line, but it typically shows up in people who favor things like research, credible evidence, history and traditional types of approaches to either a spiritual path or a magical path. The Magi Soul Line has inherited a wonderful gift, and that is the ability to manifest their desires on this plane by utilizing ritual work. They feel a strong draw, very often, to a certain paradigm of magic, and it doesn't matter what it is. Some are drawn to Egyptian magic, some are drawn to Celtic lore, maybe Native American forms of ritual. And if it's not magic, it would be maybe a draw to something like the Kabbalah. The mystical systems that exist inside of religions would be where the Magi's interest gets focused. And they become very studious. They tend to really dive into any knowledge that they can find about their interest, and they become adept practitioners. And through their soul line that makes them very good at doing these things, they really show us what it's like to be diligent and follow practices that can be replicated. And so they become high magicians in whatever paradigm they select. So they become very good at, defining the magical principles, the hermetic principles for all of us. And this comes from their ability to be so dedicated and so thorough in the way they practice. Yes, they might create, if they have an eclectic tendency, then they might take the best of what they find in 3 different systems and put them together for their own use and come up with a unique sort of system that any of us could use. They're kind of the scientists of the spiritual worlds. So they base a lot of their work on ancient and traditional resources that have already have a history of working on some level. And then they refine those and work and study those. And they, of course, get closer to their own soul origins by doing this. They feel at home when they're doing that. And that strengthens their ability during the ritual itself to manifest what they are seeking. So they strengthen themselves and they strengthen the ritual at the same time. If someone has never opened a book on magic before, the Magi lines would show up in people who are inclined to approach all of their interests this way. If they are one of the chosen, as we call them, that may find modern masters, then they probably are more aware of their gifts than not. They probably aren't at the point where they haven't ever picked up a magic book. That interest in the occult or in something magical has probably already surfaced for those that would be interested in our practice.